there's 4 different benefits that I have for what makes a great purpose. So first is we have alignment. This is probably the biggest piece and becomes more and more difficult the bigger an organization gets as it grows, to make sure that everyone is still aligned on that same goal. You know, going into that note of, well, as a salesman, can I sell anything I want to, or is our company very limited? Can we sell one specific thing? And a lot of this is going to come down to alignment. It'll provide that direction. It'll say, this is the goal we are trying to achieve, and here's why we are trying to achieve it and how we plan to do that. And as long as your work fits into that description, go for it. But we can't have anything that is outside of that description, because that would no longer be aligned with us. So having this very clear purpose that says, here's what we're going to do and here's how we're going to get there. And then that can be narrowed down more and more and more down the chain. So you're making sure, as long as every single person, every single team and department's purpose kind of fits all under this umbrella, then you're going to have a lot more alignment than you might typically see. Next is purpose can, if done right, create a lot of inspiration. You know, I mentioned previously that even for me, at first, I was really opposed to purpose. It seemed very unnecessary. I didn't really get the point of it. But again, everyone is driven by something else. And so if you have the difference between, if your job is to sell paper, like that might not, you know, you could do the job, you could do it fine, you'll be great at the work, but that's very different than a purpose that says, yeah, we're selling paper, but that's just to help accomplish this broader goal. And so it can help create a lot of inspiration of, like, I'm not just filling out spreadsheets, I'm filling out spreadsheets because I'm gathering data that helps the world see how diverse we are, to be able to make changes in these areas. At the end of the day, I'm still just filling out spreadsheets. But if I know that what I'm doing has purpose and meaning and value behind it, and it's not just busy work, that can completely change somebody's relationship with their work, the time and energy they're willing to put in, and so on. Next is, it helps a lot with innovation. Again, because with your purpose, you're saying, here's what we're trying to accomplish and how. That gives you a lot more freedom over your work and a lot more room to innovate than you might traditionally have. Again, if it's just fill out this spreadsheet. It gives you room to innovate by saying, as long as you are still doing this purpose, do whatever you want. Do this how you want. Anything that you can see that will move you closer toward this, even if it's not what we're currently doing, even if we haven't tried it before. Any decision, any action, you can always just hold it up to this umbrella of, what is the purpose? And as long as it fits within this scope, then you are free to do it, and it's a good thing that you're doing it. And so this, in self-managed companies, creates a lot of room for innovation, because, you know, fill out a spreadsheet by copying these things over, you don't have a lot of room. Or if it says gather data in this way for these reasons, then you might say, hey, there's maybe faster ways to gather data. There's maybe more ways to make this more clear. You have a lot of different options. So having a clear purpose can give you a lot of room for innovation that you might not normally have. And last is, it kind of creates a good direction when it comes to the work of being able to have that discussion of can versus should, which is always going to happen in any company. But in self-managed companies, especially, one of the behaviors that can eventually become toxic is this idea of, like, well, I can do it, so what's the big deal? Especially in rules-heavy systems like holacracy, people will do terrible, terrible things that are technically following the rules. And they'll say, well, I'm following the rules of the system, so what's wrong with it? Purpose can help a lot in this direction by saying, hey, it's not just about following these rules and technically sticking to the specific system. It's making decisions for this reason. If your purpose is, you know, making the world a better place, and there are people doing decisions that are clearly having no benefit to the world, causing more harm, then you can always compare it to that. So it helps a lot with this decision of can versus should. Like, you technically can make the decisions you're making, but here's your purpose. It's to do this. And if you can't rationally justify how what you're doing helps you fulfill this, helps move you closer toward this goal that we're working on, then, you know, we can have discussions, put expectations in place, and so on. So these are some of the benefits of having a really clear outcome-based statement of purpose.